morning. Um, the Lord spoke to me. He said, "Oh, city alabahosa, holy silio sorry, Jose calabasilio sakandere shiri alabahosa, holla my heart, God, to do a video. And a lot of times, I get a little discouraged, about the lack of subscribers. Oh, just rebuild. But as you really begin to look back at your life, you realize, that God was hiding you, that, oh God, that God was keeping you, you know, in a secret place. And it's a blessing to be kept in a secret place. So I'm going to play a little bit of this song. I just heard it last week and it was just resonating in my spirit. Um, okay, let's see. Here it is. And as you listen to these songs, anybody know that God is keeping him this morning? God is keeping me. God is keeping me. Oh, right, say. Pick a city of the Jose Colorado City of the Pick a saka no. Ooh, shalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalalal Hide in Jesus. Oh, just city elabio suck and the bay city elabohosa. He clean her. Take a boat city elabio, God. He reached me. Oh, Shobo. God is keeping me. Ooh, la basala basaka na 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 na. Ooh, shalabasilio soka na 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 na. Ooh, clean buildings. Make a both city alaboho saga. Rebuild. Make a man my heart, God. Rebuild. Ooh, shalabasaka na 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 na. Ooh, God. Ooh, la move, God. Yeah, James. Oh, the city alaboho shah. Ooh, jalabasoka na na na. City alaboho saga. Yeah, God. Shalabakandiyobosha. He reached me. I just thank God, because just looking back over my life down through the years, things that could have destroyed me, I didn't realize I wasn't close enough to the Lord, to understand what He was trying to do. Ha mama masa, ha mama masilio saka na 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 ha in Jesus. I was feeling sorry for myself, and a lot of times, you got to realize the person that God designed you to be. When He made you, He made an original. And if you try to be like everybody else, or if you try to compare yourself to everybody else, then you are not appreciating what God did. Show Moses. Woo, shalabasaka de basity alabahosa. A lot of time you'll compare yourself to other men. If you're a man and you'll say, why I couldn't behave like that, and you'll look down on yourself. That is just the enemy. The enemy wants you to live in covetousness. You got to say to yourself, God made me. And He didn't make mama masa hate. Oh, just city alabio saka did it base the sa. You got to say He didn't make a mistake when He made me. that if you look back over your life and you see the heartache, your heartache was because you gave your heart to the wrong people. So you can't look down on yourself when you gave yourself to someone that didn't value you, didn't appreciate your worth. Because and when the relationship get over, you should thank God that oh God, I hear that God delivered you, because God don't want you to be with somebody that's always putting you down and always comparing you to someone else, and just speaking negatively of you and criticizing you and pointing out all of your faults to you, because we all have faults. If we were a complete package, if we were a finished deal, God would be done carried us up into heaven. But because He's still, oh my ear, He's still working on us. He's still working on us. It's just like it used to be this song about He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took Him just a week to make the moon and the stars, sun and the earth, Jupiter and Mars. How very patient He must be, because He's still working on me. He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took Him just a week to make the sun and the stars, moon and the earth, Jupiter and Mars. How very patient He must be, because He's still working on me. I just thank God for that song. I hadn't heard that song in years. Okay, as I was talking, the Lord dropped in my spirit Psalm 21. The king shall joy in thy strength, O Lord, and in thy salvation how greatly shall he rejoice. Thou hast given him his heart's desire, and is not withholding the request of his lips. Selah. For thou preventest him with the blessings of goodness. Thou settest a crown of pure gold on his head. He asked life of thee, and thou gavest. Ooh, I move God. Ooh, shalabasaka de city alabahosa. And thou gavest to him even length of days forever and ever. His glory is great in thy salvation. Honor and majesty hast thou laid upon him. For thou hast made him most blessed forever. Thou hast made him exceeding glad with thy countenance. For the king trusteth in the Lord. The Lord was just dropping in my spirit about many times man's rejection is God's protection. But if you don't get close enough to God, you'll never understand what He was trying to do when He closed some doors. I move God. Woo, Shando. You'll never understand what God was trying to do when He drove some people out of your life. When God was, woo, God, my you, break a man, my soul. Hallelujah. I was watching TV just yesterday, and this TV show was about this girl, and I think it was Fatal Vows. And this man had worked with people who had mental disabilities. So when he bought his first home, he was looking for a place of refuge. He was just looking for a place that was quiet, because he was surrounded by noise all day long. So he wanted his home to be a quiet place. But just by happenstance, he moved into a neighborhood, and there was a single woman. And this single woman, she was spinning her web. When she saw him, she was attracted to him. The Bible, the Bible say, blessed is the man who findeth a wife. But these days, women be setting traps for men. Sometimes they set a trap by getting pregnant by them because they have a motive. So anyway, going back to the story, this lady had a house, and it was right next door to this man who had just bought a house. And I guess she looked upon him as an eligible bachelor. But he was just trying to make his home be a haven. So she pushed herself on him when he was doing renovations, she would just show up unannounced. She would pop up, in the workman way. She could have hurt herself, but she had a motive. She had set her eyes on that man to seduce him. So she had even asked him to park his truck in her driveway because she wanted the neighbors to think that they had something going on. So he really didn't want to be bothered with her like that. He didn't even care for her like that. And so what happened was she had dressed in a seductive manner, and she came to his house around about twilight, and he looked at her and he hid himself because he really wasn't feeling her like that. But she was just determined that she was going to uh, catch him. So he installed a security camera. He built a privacy fence because all he really wanted was his privacy. So, but anyway, she snared another man, and this man moved in with the lady thinking he had found security. Okay, so but um she told her side of the story. It's two sides to every story, and the truth is somewhere in between. So, but anyway, they began to have disputes about property boundaries, and she would pour uh, some kind of chemical on his plants to try to, kill his plants. So that was like a red flag, okay? And they didn't respect the security camera, nor did they respect the privacy wall because she felt like she was insulted. So the Bible say hell have no fury like a woman scorned. So she ensnared this other man, and he was working on his car in in the driveway. Okay, so the owner of the house, the protagonist of the story, he picked at the man. He said, uh, you don't even have the money to take your car to a shop for repairs. You got to work on your own car. He insulted the man. So the neighborhood children witnessed that. And so the man, he began to nurse a grudge against the neighbor. And so what happened was this man, he was at work and he had hired some yard people. So he hired some yard people to take care of his yard. And when he came home from work, the yard people were standing around. And I guess he was saying to himself, I'm not paying y'all to stand around. Why y'all hadn't finished my yard? So he went in his house and well, not in the house, in the garage, and he got the lawnmower. He said, let me show you where you need to cut. Let me show you where her property stopped and my property began. So when the man who was going with the lady saw him out there with his lawnmower, he brought their lawnmower out and he began to cut. So they got into an argument because you realize this was the battle of the wheels. So they both were trying to cut grass, but the neighbor's boyfriend was just trying to make a point. Say, you gonna cut grass? No, you ain't gonna cut grass. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, what happened was they got into it. So the man went into his house and got his weapon, and he just fired a warning shot. He wasn't really intent to hit the man, but the man kept coming. He was going to graze the man perhaps on his shoulder. But because the man kept coming, he ended up shooting the man, I think, in the heart. And so the man died. And so this man was in jail being prosecuted for a first degree murder. But thank God he had the surveillance camera. The surveillance camera showed how the man had come at him, how he was actually trying to attack him because he was trying to show his workers how to cut the grass and where the property boundaries began. And the man interfered with what he was trying to do by going to get a lawnmower. And it just let you know how, men, you have to be careful where you lay your head. Be, oh God, I hear, because if you read Proverbs 5, you realize the lips of a strange woman, they're smoother than oil. When a woman is trying to ensnare a man, the first thing she does is flatter him. Samson never would have been caught up with Delilah, but he told Delilah his secrets, and that's how his enemies found him. And that's what ended Samson, caused him to lose his strength. Samson was a very strong man, but because he didn't listen to the counsel of his parents, and he just had to have Delilah. Sometimes the woman that you choose can cost you your life. So the Bible say in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. This is why we have to seek the Lord, not only for marriage, but for friends. Because the reason we can't really just put our trust and our confidence in people these days is because the Bible say in the last days, perilous times shall come. Evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse. That's why you have these shows like Fatal Attraction and like Fatal Vows, because they depict scenarios that are based on real life events. People actually do these things. But when you are naive, you judge people like you judge yourself. You say, you would never do that. But you got to understand, people have plots, people have designs. But in case you are in a situation that you didn't know, when you got in that situation, you didn't know what you were getting yourself into, because you married somebody who seduced you. And when they seduced you, they had a plan, they had a plot all along. They knew your character because they had studied you, but you didn't know their character because you didn't study them. So when you find yourself in that situation, you have to cry out to God and ask God to cancel the assignment of the enemy. Have a blessed day.